hope you make a place. In a bear market, just trying to make a way, yeah. And these goblins crowding up the space. But it's kind of funny, so it's all good with me, yeah. Good morning, I hope you live it well. Counting up the spread, taking care of yourself, eh. Good morning, I hope you living good. Hopefully this heat gon' get us out of it. GM, now my wrist so frozen. I just saw the bag, it's a real good morning. And I'm burning all my gas, but I made a couple thousand. It got me saying GM, now my wrist so frozen. I just saw the bag, it's a real good morning. And I'm burning all my gas, but I
right. GM LADZ City NFT Live. Thanks for hanging out today. Hanging out with your guy DJ Savage and my co-host NFTYQ. It's been a wonderful week in NFTs. I think, maybe you guys have noticed, but I think Nifty has a new PFP. Why don't we
We're jumping right into that?
Jump right into it, man. Let's go.
Dude, I never know what to do with my hands when I'm a guest. Like, usually hosting, I know what you're doing behind the scenes, but when I'm a guest, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But it's good to see everybody. NFT Live, we're covering the NFT news. DJ Savage is on the sticks. He also has a great hoodie on that is completely upstaging my BAYC. That's a Rafiki, like tie-dye, some like astral type of crazy shit. So you're totally upstaging me as always.
It was purchased just for streaming, just for you guys. That's right. Probably the only thing I've purchased specifically for streaming that's like clothing wise or whatever. Maybe a hat or two. Shout out Cryptolander.
Oh, is that the snapback?
Yeah, that's the snapback. Nice. Man, this thing is super nice quality. Like definitely one of the nicest hats I have. If you guys are considering buying a hat from Cryptolander, do it. Like the box it came in, super nice. The hat, the snapback itself, everything is super nice quality. I love this hat. Shout out Cryptolander.
Shout out Lander, dude. It's cool to see all the lads like all around the industry. It's really awesome to like see the community be building, and I just love to see it, man. We've been here for like 2 years, and we've been growing, and everybody else is growing personally, and it's just awesome to see. I mean, we have a bunch of people in the chat as well I want to give a shout out to. Fun Uncle is growing his network, growing his channel. Hash Rhymes, Peter Koo, Easy and Crypto, Alien River, Jacob Good and Choina, Peter Koo's in the house, Auntie Sia, nice to see you guys here on a Friday. Listen, we just moved to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I just the hands are moving. I'm sorry. But we moved to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So this is our Friday segment. Savage is hosting. We are usually trying to get about, I mean, ideally 4, but people got, weird schedules post NFT NYC, post July 4th. But we will usually have 4 people on here, but Savage is hosting it down on Fridays. And then we have Monday and Wednesdays as well that we're trying to get in. So thank you guys for joining us here today. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. All that that nonsense,
all that good stuff,
the good stuff.
Speaking of Cryptolander, the other day I hosted a UFC party with Cryptolander inside CyberKongz. We did like a 7-hour stream over there. That was super fun. I almost forgot to mention that we did that like last Saturday. Watched all the UFC fights and we're vibing with the CyberKongz. It definitely had me remembering the good old days with LADZ City and CyberKongz. We were throwing parties like a year or so ago. And just great vibes over there. Shout out to my CyberKong fam.
Yeah, we're like more mature now. We don't throw house parties many house parties at least anymore in cyber. Where were we throwing those? Crypto voxels.
We threw some crypto voxels.
Yeah. Fun times, man. I'm excited. But speaking of parties, we had an Otherside pretty much test that turned into a party. It was like 2,500 people in the metaverse, as well as some other things that we're going to be touching on. I believe WAGMI United is minting now, and there's a couple other things going on in the NFT space that we'll hit. But Savage, can you give me a quick turn down on the background music?
Oh yeah,
it might be my side, but I'm just hearing it a bunch. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that works. There
we go.
Cool, bro. All right, you take it over, man. Sorry for throwing you off a little bit there with the volume tracker, but what's going on?
We're just here vibing, hanging out, having a good time. We're talking about the Otherside land deed. I know I've seen a decent pump in my I'm a DGen Voids, because these guys are metaverse ready. We are rocking. Oh, I think his tracker's a little bit off because I've been staring at the wrong screen for a minute. But what do you have in your wallet that is 3D ready and
Absolutely nothing.
ready to go for Otherside? Nothing?
No, well, I mean the apes. We don't know what's going to happen with the other side. They're like July 16th. So just like a recap of what happened on Wednesday. Was this Wednesday or Tuesday? I can't even remember in NFT time, but it's potentially on Wednesday. We had an awesome test. I think it went super well for what the expectations were from at least the pragmatic community. Let's get in there. Let's have a bunch of people. Let's not have the servers break. But they also have a test this weekend, and then apparently they're set to launch something pretty big on the 16th as well. So I'm not too bullish on the 16th release. I think people are like probably, expecting a little bit too much from whatever that, official release is going to be. But, these stress tests I think are going well up to this point.
Yeah, I watched your LADZ City, our NFT Live episode from the other day when you had like 2,000 people inside the other side over there dancing around, playing. That was a fun episode to watch. You could definitely tell by your expressions how like excited and fun it was to be inside the metaverse. So I was having a good time watching it before this episode here, just kind of buffing up on Otherside land. That is looking slick. I'm excited. It's going to be fun to see what projects people are using inside their metaverse over there, because I think you can bring in a bunch of different ones, just not Bored Ape.
Yeah, the SDK toolkit's going to be like available at some point where people can like build stuff inside that metaverse. So that's going to be like down the line. I'm thinking, some people are saying like a year till the physical game releases. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit sooner. They like obviously were able to do a really cool thing there on Wednesday. So I think using Improbable, they'll be able to release this game 6 months, let's say maybe end of the year, that we get like a really cool Otherside game officially. So throw it in chat, man. Let us know what you thought about the Otherside release. If you were there, if you saw any videos, if you were there in chat, that was fucking dope too. That episode was pretty fun to do. So it was exciting to be alongside everybody. But I did sell that ape, and you could go down a rabbit hole. I don't think you got a bunch of topics for us here today, so I don't want to like crowd up the episode. But I did lose the Bubblegum ape. That was I did trade him away. I didn't lose him. I wasn't scammed, but it was a sad day.
That's a sad day. We have your NFTYQ show intro with the Bubblegum. You're gonna have to swap that one up. That's okay. That's okay. You gotta take some gains when you can. Lock that stuff in. You never know what's gonna happen in this market. So I understand selling.
It was a weird feeling, man, because the guy has a Twitter profile that's pretty large, and he was like posting about the ape after he had bought it, and it was like his at that point, and it was just it was like an ex-girlfriend or like some type of thing. It's like definitely an ex-girlfriend on Instagram was like how how I felt in that moment. So I'll have to get over it, but dude, I cannot complain. But Bored Ape's been awesome. I'm still holding other deeds, still holding MAYC and all that good stuff, but yeah.
After the pain is gone from the NFT being gone, you'll enjoy like an active user, repping your Bored Ape. Because I was sad when I sold some of my NFTs, but I think it sucks more when you sell it to someone and then it just sits in their wallet and you never get to see it again. But if they're really active on Twitter, or they have it as their PFP or whatever, you get to see it and you feel like it landed in good hands, and that makes it a little bit easier. Because the ones that bother me that I sell are, you sell them and then you never get to see it again because it's not on their Twitter profile. They don't advertise it. They don't do anything with it. It's kind of like it just up and disappears. So I think it sucks when you first see it because you had just sold it and you're like, oh, that used to be mine. But, I like seeing my NFTs that I used to own, other people repping them. I see that in some of the Discords I'm in. I had a ton of NFTs. I've sold a bunch. So you get to see them, other people rocking them. It feels good that, they're still out there and they're still doing stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome that it went to, that's a good point, because it like went to a good home essentially.
Yeah.
But, for a long time, I thought the Bubblegum ape was going to be like my forever profile picture. And one thing I noticed with the end of COVID, the NFT NYC events, and like obviously we're creating content here where we have our faces on there. one thing I noticed was like I couldn't get into character with the Bubblegum ape, because I'm not gonna sit on this fucking stream with ape ears and blowing bubblegum. Like that's just not my vibe. So like there's other apes out there that I want to connect with and want my persona to kind of reflect that ape. So I'm gonna be out there looking to scoop another one up. But and ETH is down at this point, so I was like, let's stack some ETH, man. But
true. When you purchased that ape, did you just grab a floor one, or was there something that drew you to that specific bubblegum one?
That's a really good point. Really good question. So what's happening with Bored Ape right now, and me and my buddies have talked about this a little bit, or at least some of my buddies, where the rarity doesn't really matter with Bored Ape. It's really the aesthetic trait, and those that are maybe not as rare but look cool, or just like look like somebody wants to rock them for their PFP, or like I just said, IRL. Those are going for more. So yeah, you're right. Like the bunny ears are not necessarily like a rare trait in and of themselves, but it went for 40 more ETH than was on the floor, so wow. it was a I definitely connected with it. So to answer your question, I wasn't just like, I need an ape. It was like, oh shit, the bubblegum matches the ears, and apparently someone else liked it too. But that's what's happening in BAYC and probably some others, where the aesthetic means more than the rarity.
Did you have it listed for sale for a while, or did it get scooped up pretty quick?
I had it. No, I listed it for 150, and then a guy made a bid for 125 or like 130, and then I brought it down to 135 and it sold. So yeah. Did
that guy buy it, or did someone else buy it?
I think he bought it. I'm not sure, because it was like an email that I got that was like, you have an offer. I went to check, it was gone already. So it's a little clunky OpenSea trading at this point. And then I would suggest somebody use, and I need to find it, I think it's NFTtrader.io is the OTC smart contract platform, where you're able to like, if you're making any OTC trades for these larger value PFPs, I could have saved some money if I just like saw the guy's account and then we connected and we were able to, go through NFT Trader, no fees for it sucks that Yuga wouldn't get any fees, but NFTtrader.io. Let me make sure I'll drop that in the chat as well, because I think that's a really cool feature.
If you list on OpenSea specifically to another individual's wallet, that avoids royalty fees and stuff too, wouldn't it? Like if you
transfer it,
if you list it, I think you can list it for a price specifically for one wallet, and I think that avoids the fees and stuff there, but I'm not positive. So that's why we're talking about it like this.
That's why we got the chat.
That's why we got the chat. Yeah, chat, tell us. But I've seen a lot of people use NFT Trader and get scammed because they don't properly do their research. Mm-hmm. So be careful about that one. But if you do it right, I've seen lots of other individuals say they've had a great experience over there too. But I've never looked into it, just because I thought, like, if I wanted to sell to someone specific, I would probably just list it on OpenSea directly to their wallet. And I assumed that avoids fees, but I don't have a Bored Ape. I'm not losing that kind of money to fees like you are.
Yeah. I mean, one of the benefits of being on NFT Live here is like we're hopefully reputable, where our reputation's on the line. So I just dropped NFTtrader.io. You probably know that's not a scam link. We're not here to steal your funds. That is literally the actual website, and you guys can give it a chance. I know my buddy said he traded some doodles on there and was able to like go through that process. So I kind of got the recommendation there from them. But
some big projects over there. I need one of my projects to get to doodles or Bored Ape level, and then maybe I'll be concerned about fees.
There you go. Yeah, I do want to hear about Amadegen, because like you definitely stand for them a bunch, and I definitely appreciate guys who are like putting on for a community. I do want to get one thing out of the way real quick. Wagner United is minting right now. Had them on the podcast yesterday. Really fucking sick project where they like bought an English Premier League club, or not Premier League, a League 2 team, and they're trying to get it to the Premier League. And like there's a really dope chromie squiggle kit that you get with the mint. I didn't get paid for this promotion. I just fucking love the project. So they're doing that right now. Public mint is going to be open. It was a 0.25 mint. I think some are on OpenSea now for 0.35. I would wait for the public mint, not financial advice.
Hey, it's never financial advice here. Nothing on NFT Live or any of our shows is financial advice. Everyone's got to do their own research. Speaking of research, we've been seeing a lot of different car brands jump into the NFT space over here. I see Volvo over here was talking about doing some all-electric SUVs inside the metaverse. I thought this was a pretty cool article. We can pull up over here. I thought that was kind of interesting. They're deciding to, you know, show off their all-electric SUV over here in the metaverse. And there's even like Porsche over here jumping in. And then this one right here, it's got to be the sickest though. Look at this Lambo breakdown into all its different parts.
So are these, so the Lambo piece, this last article that you have pulled up is pretty cool because they're using the NFT tech to like track physical objects, like physical products. The Volvo one is why we need Kane Mayfield on these Friday episodes, or like one of the other episodes, because I imagine like he would have some crazy fucking quotes about the Volvo verse. Like, what is the, if you could read that article or like the points in the article on those pieces, it's like they're creating a metaverse car to place in the Volvo verse, which first of all, I've never heard of the Volvo verse. I'm imagining like it's the Sims and I'm like taking my Volvo to my work job. Like this article was hard to track from like what they were trying to do with the Volvo, but they have a metaverse apparently. Never heard of the Volvoverse.
Well, see, the metaverse kind of has me curious because I was reading some of these, another article over here. I was saying they were displaying new cars in like the metaverse, so you could actually hop into it and it would feel like you're sitting in the car, you know, with all the COVID or whatever. So you could like, you know, get your full camera look around so you can kind of see what the car would look like, feel like, maybe one day smell like. That would be amazing. So I kind of assumed that's what they were thinking about here, but that might have been my bias from reading a different article. So when Volvo's talking about it, if it's actually a metaverse where you can drive around and do stuff like Grand Theft Auto, that would be crazy. But this Volvo sounds awesome. It's got like 400 horsepower, 660 torque, like can go 400 miles on a charge. It does sound sick, I'm not gonna lie. But the price on it's gotta be crazy. I couldn't spend over 50,000 on a new car. Shit, I probably couldn't even spend 20,000 on a car. That's just me though.
Definitely not on a fucking Volvo, but not to throw any shade, but I think you're right. I like my mind went to this like a Sims Volvo metaverse thing that they were like half baking up, but I think you're right. Like the Volvo versus probably like a car simulation where you like can go in and experience the car that way. So better idea on that side, Volvo.
Now we'll find out. There was like BMW and Fender and a bunch of other different car companies talking about VR experiences, and even like in a luxury jet with the Airbus, they're telling people you can come in and view their virtual jets and stuff. So that's super interesting. I think even what was it, Meta or Facebook was talking about some crazy numbers that they're expecting in the NFT space on this article I read over here. They were saying there's going to be $3 trillion economy, and we don't even have $1 trillion in crypto at the moment. So this is like
rip
huge news for me. They're talking about social media giants, Facebook and Meta jumping in, and then down in this article they're talking about $3 trillion is the metaverse's vision for the future. That's large. That's a big ask. Because I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah,
we only have like 1 trillion in there right now, so getting tripling the market share just for metaverse, not even cryptocurrencies. They must be talking to like board members or something. We didn't waste billions of dollars on metaverse, Facebook's metaverse or something, because I know they've been down in their stocks recently. So
yeah, well, they've made a few missteps, right? Being like too soon for a lot of things, which I think they've like, across the board made missteps there, where they've had Meta. I think they were trying to release, before it was Diem, it was something else. They were trying to release a stable coin on their platform. What was it? Libra,
like that, I think.
So it was Libra, Diem. Now they had Meta, and they're just getting wrecked because a lot of times they're just too early. And those, obviously, like when you are in that situation, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So DM's not working, Meta will work. All of these things might work eventually, but right now they're taking a fucking hammering because they're just not concerned with their traditional business, I guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of companies out there struggling. It looks like Celsius fixed their buy-in price for Bitcoin. That was really nice to see. So they're not going to get washed out at any point in time, but 3AC took a poop.
Can we talk about Voyager Capital and them lending money to 3AC without any like collateralization at all? They were like, here, have $100 million. No need to like put any money up just in case you don't pay us back. Like that would be like somebody, I don't know, you like borrowing your car and you're not like saying, some random person, and they don't leave any collateral whatsoever. Like it made no sense for them to do that, especially at like what level of financial, products they're working with. No collateral. That was fucking nuts to me.
Yeah, you can get
Xbox saying
like
hyperinflation, baby. Well, with inflation on the way, also if we 3x Savage, if we 3x the whole market, we're at $3 trillion.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I'm all about it. It's not if it's happening, is when it's happening. We just have to get some pumps in this market, before Russia goes invading more countries or Taiwan gets taken over, which my guess it's going to happen right as the new next presidential race comes up, because they're going to, sense a little bit of instability in our, country. And that's probably when China goes over and, invades Taiwan, tries to take all that over for their computer chips and whatnot. And this feels like all this Russia stuff feels like it's like a test run or whatever for what China's going to do, because they're seeing how we're going to respond if sanctions and stuff. Like we put some sanctions on Russia. We're getting way off topic here, but we put sanctions on Russia and their ruble's, up higher now than it's ever been, because they're, dealing with China. So I think we've put a hurt on like Russia with these sanctions, but we've done the exact opposite, I feel like. But it's a little bit off topic for NFT Live.
No, what you need to do is have like a segment inside of NFT Live on these Fridays where you like transition to the Alex Jones portion or the DJ Savage portion.
Well,
like conspiracy theory, macro theory, DJ Savage thesis.
I felt like I needed to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on into the world, because, I didn't anticipate this, most recent crypto crash, because I didn't see us going to war with Russia. So if I would have been paying attention to politics and stuff, I probably would have made my bets differently and cashed out and, played my hand a little bit differently. So figure I'm not going to get caught like, a third or a fourth time, because we've been on this ride for a while now, for a couple of years. So if they're going to be like going to war with other countries, I figure you have to kind of stay up to date with just a little bit of information, so bags just aren't always getting wrecked. So maybe, I'll pair up with Fun Uncle and we'll do some conspiracy theory stuff, or future telling, because that's what it is.
Fun Uncle. You heard it here first, man. A Savage Uncle mashup here on Fridays. Dow Records is saying, greetings, y'all. It's been a minute. Just dropping in. Santino saying, I really think it was the best for NFTYQ because you'll be able to buy back cheaper at a later date. Possibly the market will crash even further.
That would be epic. Buy back your Bored Ape for cheaper. I've seen that many times. I've seen that many times where I was like, I should sell here at this price, and then everything tanks. And you'll see ones that you sold, they'll pop up again. Like, I don't want to buy that one back, but that is definitely possible. That would be really cool to get your original Bored Ape back when someone paper hands it within the same month.
Listen, I'll take one if it's only a month, I'm down for that to happen. But if it's going to mean a longer bear market for all of us, I'd rather us just, go on and go on the stairs, ride up, up and to the right when it comes to the charts. And I'll take that sacrifice. I will not buy my Bored Ape back if that means a bull run can come.
Sadly, it's probably not enough liquidity to make a difference with anything. But hey, your NFT is worth way more than mine is. I'm just saying, like, there's $1 trillion in the market, $100,000. If you hit the Twitter super hard and you're just going crazy, getting everyone involved, then it'll happen.
What's going on with I'm a Degens, bro? Like, I don't know if you had that on your dashboard, but is that what's happening?
I'm a Degens, yeah, because I think it's just because Otherside plot is, coming ready to go. They're looking at fully rigged, NFTs, and I'm a Degens were the first that were out there. So they've been, I've been watching their sales, and they've been getting some nice pumps. They went from 0.1 or something to 0.2, maybe up to like 0.4, and kind of going back up and down. Someone grabbed like 18 the other day, I don't know. That's definitely one of my favorite projects, just because it was the first one that I really got into. Like, we had them on for LADZ City Radio with Buffalo, and right after I heard about that, I was like, oh man, that project's gonna do something. And just like you said, sometimes you're just a little bit too early. I think I'm a Degens were just a little bit early. You know, they can do so much. I think they kind of caught people off guard with that, just because nothing else was this cool. But, you know, there's other projects, they're saying they're going to give you a promise that something will be ready eventually. This one's been out for like a year or something, fully rigged and ready to go. And I have a bunch of different file types, FBX, SDKs, you know, there's like, they've dropped a bunch of them. So I got a lot of faith in that project. I think I've got like 20 of them or something left, but at one point in time I had like 100 or something. I have an issue with buying too much into the projects that I work for, because you get to see the back end and you're like, oh man, this stuff's going really well. And you know, if anyone's gonna get you on that hype train, it'll be when the founders are talking to you about what's coming up, and hey, you can't share this. You know, this isn't full information yet. Don't tell the community, but this is what's coming up, and it gives me the FOMO. I've done that on, you know, a lot of my projects. I have like 400 NFTs, and probably 3/4 of them are from projects that I've worked on. So anyone that's employed me, let's go. Shout out.
Shout out to shout out to anybody employing Savage. Keep doing that. Rebel Seals was another one I got involved in, based on like, I think you were working with them. So yeah, I got some Rebel Seals. Side note, I would love to see a Crypto Buffalo index for like the projects that he interviewed, because he interviewed some super interesting projects in the Discord back in the day when we were still like in like infancy mode. That was a really cool time to see him. Like, I mean, even like some what's the word I'm looking for, like nondescript or projects that maybe fell off but were bigger at the time. Arabian Camels comes to mind. Like, I remember hit them in the Discord. I don't know whatever happened to that project, but definitely don't see much from them nowadays. But he interviewed a lot of ones that ended up being super successful.
Yep. I wonder how he's been doing with his bags over there with the vet. I know it was up for a good while. Hopefully he sold a bunch and came away with a bunch of cash. Shout out Crypto Buffalo, one of the OGs in the space. Always out there working hard with Hard Fork Gaming. Shout out to all the guys out there. Let's go. OVOT.
Our vibe, our tribe.
Dope, bro. Easy's in the house. Hell yeah. Love it.
Yeah, good. Nice seeing Easy. Yep. I missed Sunday night Cypher. RIP. I was hanging out with the girlfriend, so I missed that one. But you guys don't check out Easy over there with Cypher. That's always a good time over there. We were talking about companies doing stuff inside the metaverse, and it feels like more and more companies and even more artists in like the music space are jumping into the metaverse over here. There was some training materials over here for NVIDIA and Siemens, and they were jumping in to build like training grounds or whatever over here in the industry space, which, I mean, that's super cool. Like, I think the 3D NFTs are going to start taking off here, just like, you know, Bored Ape and I'm a Degens or whatever, because, you know, they're talking about making it you know, duplicates of something that exists in real life. They're going to make a digital copy of it and use AI and to like teach you how to use it and stuff. So even if crypto is down at the moment, I've seen more and more companies jump into this space, whether it's, you know, Lamborghini or NVIDIA or whatever. So I definitely think that our time is coming. Our time is coming. We might be have been a little early, and that's okay. That's okay.
Well, it pays a little bit to be early. But yeah, I mean, NVIDIA's obviously a company that's been associated with crypto for a long time through a lot of the mining rigs and all these things. So it's cool to see them, I guess, diversify and figure out like how they want to get involved in NFTs. So yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're taking a decent hit right now with everyone's mining profits in the tanker. I know my house has been hot for a minute while everything's mining, and we've not really been seeing the rewards or whatever that we were looking for, with, you know, not a whole lot moving on the ETH chain, which is good for gas prices if you're like buying NFTs or something. But if you're mining, I know there's a lot of people that are probably losing money right now if they're
Yeah.
mining, because they got in too expensive. Even then, when you're buying graphics cards like a year ago, you would have to run it for about a year to get into profit. And with, profits being cut at least in half, that's like 2 years. You'd almost have to run your brand new, $1,000, $2,000 video card before you're starting to see gains. At this price for level at Bitcoin anyways, we all know it's going to go up eventually. So I didn't make the mistake of turning it off. In 2018 or whatever it was, I turned off my mining. Wish I'd have never done that. We're not doing it this time. They're staying on.
We need a mining episode, man. You need like a mining segment, a macro investment thesis segment. We're building it out slowly but surely. I've got Dekenza's in the chat saying, yo, here for the Metaverse Otherside demo alpha. Dow Records is saying they've got a mint going live, I guess. So shout out to Dow Records there. Santino also has a lot. My own NFTs are minting. So people are apparently building, man. I love to see it. And then Easy says he's down here in LA for the Crypto Jazz Fest. A little later, me and Kane will be doing a thing. So that's
Sick.
exciting to see. Maybe that has a little bit of LADZ City combination there, a little bit of a synergy. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. I was talking a couple of weeks ago about different artists in the space that have been jumping into the metaverse, and there have been some more of them. I see over here LimeWire on Algorand is getting Travis Barker, Brandy, and a bunch of other artists. So there are still more people jumping into this space. And I'll plug my Algorand one more time because it is super cheap right now. I think I bought in at like $1.50 average, and it's down at like 30 cents or something. If I had some more cash, I'd definitely be buying a little bit more Algorand just because of the amount of stuff that's happening over there, whether it's, with Flow and Dapper Labs or, Universal Music Groups and all their different artists. I definitely think Algorand's going to take off here eventually. Who knows when? It's hard to tell with everything that's going on in the space. Have you been seeing any chains pop up or be talked about a lot recently?
So yeah, a tie-in that I will get into that answer, but a tie-in there, Balaji, I might be saying his name wrong, got interviewed by Tim Ferriss, and he was talking about digital nation states, which I think is like a cool tie-in to a lot of these chains, because as the chains grow, you kind of have a similarity between like some type of digital nation, right? You have a fund, you have maybe a DAO controlled wallet or multiple wallets where you actually can like fund things that go on in this ecosystem, and there can be like cool flywheel effects. So if you're interested in that interview, I thought Balaji like has a ton of really good quotes and just like thoughts. He's a fucking genius. He talks a lot, so sometimes that can get annoying, but if you like that kind of stuff, he's a good interview. And of course, Tim Ferriss does a great job. To answer your question specifically, like Polygon, I like what they're going to do for gaming. Phantom Galaxies is like launching imminently here on the Polygon network. They brought over the head of YouTube gaming, I believe, to kind of head up Polygon gaming sector. So I love Polygon. Flow is one that takes a lot of shit, and Dapper Labs gets a lot of shit for some of the distribution practices with a lot of like CryptoKitties or Top Shot or some other projects. So, to be honest, I like Flow long term, but they need to like battle this sentiment that, they really haven't not a lot of their users have profited from a lot of the projects like you would see on Ethereum or some of these other chains. So Solana, Flow, Polygon, probably my top three, but I'm interested, man. If Algorand is dope, then I'm super interested in that.
That would be the other three that I would have mentioned other than Algorand. And that theory about digital nations is kind of what I've been thinking for the past 2 years, and why I said I wasn't like a maxi on Bitcoin or Ethereum or really any chain, because there's so many great layer zeros and layer ones out there that all it takes is for a country to buy into one of those chains and then start developing all of their different dApps and applications on that chain, and you'll see it blow up. So for example, maybe America goes on ETH and we do everything over there, and then India does everything on Polygon, and then someone else does everything on Avalanche, someone else on Cosmos. So it's kind of just like how banks operate. US Bank doesn't go after Bank of America, and they work together, and America has its couple big banks, and then Russia will have its couple big banks. That's exactly how I see the blockchain space progressing in the future. Like not every country is going to jump on the exact same blockchain. They're probably all going to have their own and their whole own ecosystem. So that's why I have most of my money in layer, 0 or 1 blockchains, just because that's how I see it developing in the future, is a bunch of different countries picking one of those chains and then developing all their different applications or dApps on top of it. So it sounds like an amazing podcast. I definitely will have to get that link from you after this and to give that a listen.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat now for those of you guys that are interested. The other counter theory to that, which I love, like I'm the one that fucking just dropped you guys the link. Like I love the digital nation state theory, but the other like counter theory and the really cool, I think, evolution is like how all the chains then have interconnections between them, which doesn't exist much right now. Like that's the reason NFT projects don't do well on Flow. It's because all the money's on ETH. So we don't have mass adoption yet, and they're making people pay with credit cards. People don't want to do that shit. So, but like what happens, 5 years down the road when the bridges for all of these different chains are so user friendly that you can just instantly port, like what happens if one click you can buy something on Flow for ETH, like that stuff is all going to exist in the same way that maybe in the future, 1,000 years down the line, all nation states on earth are like this one homogenous, united earth nation that you see in all these sci-fi movies. Like that might happen with all of these chains. They all might have a different name, they might have different products, but all be interconnected, which I think is like a fucking dope, like utopian concept that we'll never get to because we'll just fuck it up somehow.
Probably pretty close to, but I think right now switching chains and stuff is difficult because you have to have some knowledge in the space and know how to use the bridges, and it's kind of complicated. But eventually they're going to add a new UI on top of that, and it'll be like using any other app on your phone, and you won't even realize you're switching chains. You're not going to have to go up to your MetaMask, select a different chain. Like they're going to figure out a new UI or user interface where that's all just going to be seamless and beautiful. When people were first coding, they had to write out absolutely everything, and then they've built new UIs on top of that where it's a lot of drag and drop. And even like on my mainframe application when I was working for the bank, you had to type out all your mainframe codes and stuff, and I had books of stuff memorized in my head on how to navigate around on the mainframe. But recently I've seen a bunch of mainframes get attached on top of like a new UI, and it's all, you're just clicking and touching a lot of different boxes. You're using your mouse more than you're using your keyboard and memorized stuff. So it seems complicated right now while they're doing bridging and stuff, but it's definitely not going to be that way forever. They're going to make it super simple. And then eventually, the new people learning won't even know how to work, the previous UI. And there'll be us old OGs over here saying, I remember when you had to do a bridge and you had to take your ETH from Ethereum and move it to AVAX. And so those are going to be fun stories. Can't wait till all that stuff comes out.
I want to hit some of the chat. Dow Records is saying we are building on near. Santino saying ETH, Polygon, ADA, Wax, Tezos. And if the Marmalade NFT standard launches, Cadena will crush it. I like Sol as well. Dow Records also said cater to the market or build your own market. So a lot of good comments coming in. There are obviously like good things about having your own network. Ronan with Axie Infinity, showed us that. Like instead of like maybe building on a scalable blockchain, they were like, no, we want to capture all this value on our own chain. But has that worked for them? Some might say yes, some might say no. They're obviously hurting, but it might not just be because of the Ronin blockchain. There's all these other factors involved.
Yeah, I think it depends. I like building on top of layer zeros. So, Cosmos is like a layer 0. You can go build a layer 1 on top of Cosmos, kind of like Binance did. And then it doesn't even feel like you're using someone else's chain because you built your own layer 1 and it feels like it's your chain. But in reality, it's moving on top of Cosmos, a layer 0. So I think there's a lot of upside to Cosmos or Atom, whatever you want to call it, just for that reason there, because it's a layer 0. I don't think a lot of people think about that. They think like, oh, I'm into the BNB coin or whatever. Well, technically you're into Cosmos and BNB runs on that. So that was kind of my play when everyone was jumping into BNB. I was like, well, I don't really know if that chain's going to do well. Maybe I'll just buy some Atom. because that's the underlying tech on it. And then BNB went from like $33 to $700 or something, and I was sitting here saying, I wish.
CZ and Binance have always been, do you want to be smart, you want to make money.
Yeah.
That is literally the quote for Binance. Like, you could it's like that 50 IQ to 150 IQ chart where, like, in the middle they're like, no, like, it's too centralized and has all these problems, and then the low IQ and the really high IQ people are like thinking the same way. Like, that's literally seriously, like, Binance was always a good play, and it probably still is, and that's because of, they have revenue from the Binance exchange. That's another reason anything FTX is touching is gold, because they actually have revenue, right? Like a really strong revenue base with the FTX exchange. So yeah, anything Binance touches, man, do you want to be smart? You want to make money?
Yeah, I was getting ready to buy a ton of Binance when it was at $33, and I listened to an influencer that said, hey, be careful with the SEC out there coming after Ripple. I bet you I know who's next, and it's probably BNB. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to be messed up with the SEC. Yeah. And then I decided not to do it. And then literally like a week later, it went crazy. And I was like, well, definitely done listening to influencers and going to make my own decisions from now on. That's when I learned right there that the influencers out there don't always have your best interest at heart. Like, I think, didn't Chris Brown just try to mint an NFT the other day and it didn't mint out?
Yeah, it's because artists. Yeah, that's because, like, wait, was this on Binance? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
It was just, he's an influencer with, insane a number of followers on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and he can't sell out like a 10,000 collection. So it's no longer just about hype anymore. You need some real value.
There it is. Like, that's one of the awesome things about a bear market, is that it's going to cut through all of the nonsense that you got in like the hype of the bear market. If he was 6 months sooner or a year sooner, if he launched last year this time, that instantly sells out.
Yep.
You'd have to jump through like 5 hoops on a white list to sell out, to try to get on that list. Now it's not even being touched. But most people and these artists and these celebrities, they don't know how to get into the space, and it's that simple. We don't have to beat around the bush. But we'll see what happens, man. The other thing is, like, Ripple, to get to your other point, like, Ripple's a US based company. Like, whatever influencer was talking about that had no idea what they were talking about. Like, Ripple's literally, I think, having headquarters in New York City or like somewhere in the US. But CZ's like chilling in Malta and Bermuda and all of these other places. Like, he could give a shit less what's going on with the US. I mean, he obviously have to track it, but he's not as apt to be affected by it.
No, I really like CZ. That dude's a hustler. He's always out there moving. Kind of reminds me of Easy, just everywhere, always making talks, always putting out, good communications. So I definitely made a bad play there. Shout out to CZ if you watch this, my guy. You're out there hustling. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. So Xpow's in the chat. Listen, Xpow is definitely another one who loves the project that he's in. Like, he is going to go full board. I haven't had an opportunity to look at Fluff, and he brings it up every time we're live. I would love to get Fluff on the network, on the Nifty Q show. If I can get those guys on the network, Xpow, you can send them my way. We'll get the interview scheduled, and I'd love to have Fluff on. I haven't gotten involved in that project. Would love to hear more.
What's Fluff about? Is that a game that's coming out?
That's why I need to have them on. So
hey.
Xpow's there in the chat, he can tell you, but I believe they are a PFP project, if I'm not mistaken. They have this IP here that they're building out, this brand that they're building out. But again, would love to have them on. Let's do a Nifty Q show and see what's going on. Yeah, Fluff is those scary rabbit things. That's what Dekenza said. So yes, correct.
Okay. Talking about stuff that's upcoming, I found this today on the news. And it got me kind of thinking. I didn't think about this because we're always talking about building in Web3 and on different metaverse. They're saying in 2024, they're going to bring out a gaming console for NFTs. And this is kind of crazy. Polium, or however we're talking about it, says it's going to run on Ethereum, Solana, Polygon. A lot of the ones that we're talking about that are going to blow up. What do you think about this, Nifty?
First of all, while I'm giving my notes and my take on this situation, I would love for you to pull up the logo for Polonium 1 or Polomium 1 or whatever the heck and show it on screen. They might even have a side-by-side look between the Nintendo GameCube and the Polomium 1. This is ridiculous. I mean, that alone is kind of a red flag, a small red flag in and of itself, but I would almost bet that this console doesn't ever launch. In my opinion, this console is like dead on arrival. There aren't, like, Google, Amazon, all of these other products and these big, huge companies, like the biggest in the world, tried to get in the console game. And in Polomium 1, who's like starting from a point of ripping off the GameCube logo, is going to create a console for NFT games. It doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. I know this is a super bearish take, but I mean, just build an NFT game. Like, we will get to the point where we'll have NFTs on the traditional consoles. It doesn't make any sense to have an NFT console. I'm sorry. So that's my take. But can we show them before I get, because I want to hear what you have to say, but please show them the Polomium 1 GameCube logo.
Well, I have the game pulled up over here on Twitter. I'm trying to find its logo. I'm not sure if I'm succeeding in that one.
All right, I'll send it to you on Discord. What do you think?
I think it's probably gonna flop. Just because if we're struggling to get people into blockchain gaming that are already in the space, on their computer, how many people are going to buy a console that they don't know anything about the technology, and then there's probably no games on it? Like, you'd have to have some amazing blockbuster games from big titles to launch this, new console. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know why you would do this when you can just hook up an Xbox controller to your computer, which everyone's already got in the space, and you can do your blockchain gaming. I mean, the new Xbox controllers sync up amazingly well with Windows Computer because they're built by the same company. So yeah. I don't know why why do you need a Xbox or PlayStation, period? It's a dumbed down computer. Buy a nice graphics card, plug in your computer. That's just me, though.
Yes, I mean, some people want first of all, I sent you the logo. Which one is the Polomium, which one is the GameCube can only be determined by the color of the actual logo. But I mean, some people like, console gaming here. So I sent that to you on Discord. We will see, man. This is super easy fodder for the gamers and the tech, gamers that hate NFTs essentially and want to shit on them. This is like the easiest fodder of all time. Okay, there we go. They said that this is not a ripoff of the GameCube logo, but I struggle to actually believe that.
I see what you're saying now. Hey, are they the purple one? Did they add the purple?
No, that's GameCube.
Oh, horrible.
Santina's saying, what about Atari's blockchain-enabled console? Okay, Atari's been here since the beginning. And first of all, I haven't been keeping up with Atari. I'm sorry. It's just not a company that really is on the radar for me. But I know that they were doing that console. Here, are we losing me?
No, I'm trying to move too many screens around. I think my computer just doesn't like it.
Listen, Atari's been here for a long time. Whoever they had, I don't know if it was Yacht from Animoca Brands or they had people in the space. They've been around for 2 years. They have land in the sandbox. They have been in the space long enough to actually, have the reputation to say, okay, we're going to do this. Will it be successful? I don't know. They can go also the route of creating vintage games. It's not we need to have these new NFT, I guess indie games come on, which I'm sure will exist on Atari, but I don't know. Even the Atari blockchain game console, we heard about it, but do we know anything about it now?
Didn't do much. Yeah.
Is it out?
I'm not sure. I don't do a whole lot of gaming, and the games that I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna use on an emulator. Just because you can download games for free. You can load them up on your emulator. Why would I want to swap between one game at $60 when you could borrow, 2,000 games from a friend that take a couple minutes to move from one hard drive to the next. I probably have so many games, every PS2 game, every PlayStation game, every Super Nintendo game, all sitting on, ROMs on my computer. And you pull up a nice emulator and you have access to all of them. So since I've been doing that, I find it hard to purchase any gaming system, several $100s for the system, $60 a game, plus a membership to access it online. Plus, if you want anything, you have to be buying skins or swords or whatever. Like, I feel like it's just a huge money grab. If you're 5 years behind in technology, you can probably get it for free. And I don't know. I'm kind of cheap, guys. Kind of cheap.
The consoles will be the last like lagging indicator that NFTs are a thing, right? Like mobile is going to be existing with obviously like it exists with blockchain games. Obviously PC exists with, they're not very good, but like they have NFT integration. Consoles like, all right, we're here. Like here's mass adoption. We're all here. Kumbaya. Asmodee is saying they did sell a console and it's in people's hands. Last I hear. Santino's saying there is Epic Games for PC, which has Grit, and Blankos Block Party, both in NFT games available to download. Have you been hearing more about Blankos?
I have.
Do you know anything like about what's going on with that?
I think it's just a Minecraft server, isn't it?
No.
So maybe I don't know Blankos.
Dude, Blankos, we used to have some LADZ City times with Blankos, man. The Blankos is being built by the Blizzard NFT arm, essentially, or blockchain arm.
Okay.
Blankos is dope, but the problem is like when it launched, it was cool because it was novel, but then like there was a max capacity as to like what you could do with the game, and it got like worn out pretty quickly. But no, I think a lot of some people that are listening right now that were long-term, viewers probably have some like legit Blankos. We were getting after it in Blankos Block Party, trying to think of like what a comparison would be in a game sense, but yeah,
they
maybe
look
like Fall
interesting.
Guys. Yeah,
I don't even know that game.
Fall Guys.
I told you I don't do any gaming.
Fall Guys is hilarious.
Last gaming I did, I was playing in LADZ City, DJing while you and Prodigy were doing. What were you playing over there?
League of Legends. Yeah, we're slowly trying to get banned from League of Legends, or slowly or quickly, whichever one you look at.
Yeah, so even when I play, I'm not playing. I'm like spectating and DJing. So I don't know. Do you when you're playing games, does your mind turn off or relax? So maybe it's just because I don't game enough. When I feel like when I'm gaming, it takes all my brain power because I have to think about the keys and what I'm doing, and just don't relax doing it. I have friends that can sit on the couch and game for hours on hours, but that's probably because they know all the controls so well they can just turn off their brain and play. Whereas for me, I game a couple times a year, so you're like trying to remember all your buttons, and it's just not like a relaxing,
it's like
stressful
PTSD.
time. Yeah, you're like, especially if you're getting wrecked in something like Call of Duty or League of Legends or whatever. That's I can see how people are breaking keyboards. I never understood that growing up, when people would just smash their own shit, but after playing League of Legends for a while, you can definitely see how that can happen. You can be up dominating and then just totally get destroyed and want to break something.
Yeah. I could see why. I'm surprised that they're able to onboard as many gamers as they do, but maybe there's just a ton of people like myself who like want a competitive atmosphere, but like picking up League of Legends has to be like the most toxic thing you could ever do. You're playing with 4 other people that hate you. You say one thing, good luck. And then you're, basically playing at a level. You're playing at like below JV. You're playing JJV, and people are in it to play professional. And you're just, for the life of me, I wouldn't be able to restart learning how to play League. I don't know how I got started, but I play it for the competitive aspect, right? Like I'm a competitor, so I like it, but I also play like other games to chill out. Kagi and Bryson have been streaming Blankos and doing competitions. Santino saying it is the Fall Guys of crypto. And Nappy Headed Hooligan saying, what's the best play to earn game out right now? And then Santino, I'm going through a lot of comments. Santino saying Street Fighter causes tilt and rage quits for sure.
I remember playing Street Fighter growing up, and my sister would just keep throwing the stupid kick and like walk you down, and it was never fun. And then you had to learn how to combat that kick, and then she never wanted to play again after that because her move was taken away. Old school rage. Alien River saying same story, spectating is the best part of gaming. I think so too. I don't know if anyone's watched the League of Legends competitive over there, but those are crazy entertaining to watch, and I see why they get insane amount of viewers and people playing that game, even if it is hard to get into, just because watching it is super fun. Like even the announcers or the way they set up their show, maybe it's just because I'm into the technical back end of it, but they set everything up so nice, moving from camera to camera and team to team. Definitely can imagine like Crypto Buffalo over there running that setup, or Fun Uncle, or one of those pros. I bet.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we had WAGMI United, which is a DAO, essentially, like an organization that owns the English Football Club. But like having organizations own esports teams is a way less of a jump, right? Because you have something that's already internet native that you can like own. So I'm 100% bullish on that. Like there are going to be hundreds, if not thousands, and that's kind of the dream of all of these guilds, in my opinion. Like a lot of guilds that you see right now, YGG and a lot of these other guilds, they're going to have a esports arm that's going to be playing this stuff, dude. I can't wait. We're skirting around the question, man. What's the best play to earn game out right now? And then Santino's asking a great question: best for earning or for fun? So I want to open up that up to the chat, and then maybe we could hit it too. But I actually need to like wrap my brain around like what my answer will be.
I thought about this for a previous episode of NFT Live, and I guess the last gaming I did probably would have been on Minecraft, because you can run around in a bunch of different platforms, whether that's
but it's
like,
not play to earn.
Yeah, you can earn their tokens, not actually on the Minecraft like server itself, but if you jump into like Immutable X has a version of it that you can pull up and you can earn some of their token in there.
I see.
I'm doing it on NFT Worlds, so you can jump on Minecraft on the NFT Worlds platform and you can earn some world token, and that's what I was doing, and I had fun in there just because it's based on time. So even if you suck at it, which I think most of us suck at Minecraft, at least I do. I didn't play it growing up, so I had a decent time in there just because you could do whatever. So if you go in with a couple of groups of friends or a couple of people that they can kind of show you around and do whatever, and you don't feel like you're losing if you die or suck at it, because it's based on time in the game. So yeah, I think Minecraft for me would be the answer for both of them. And Uplift, he's saying, is a Minecraft on wax. Shout out Santino.
Yeah, shout out to Uplift, man. I love those guys. Natalie Crew is in the house. I love Tiger Writer on Twitch. I used to watch him for hours. Munchkin Doom is on Facebook now, but she's for real hilarious. And not that damn wolf game. Yeah, that DeFi like play to earn combination. That's a tough one. Man, I really do not have an answer for this. Like I'm very like Blankos is probably the one that looks most, I guess, ready. Like we played it a bunch. It was fun. It just, capped out on entertainment. I'm sure if I go back in now, it would look entirely different. But Blankos would probably be my answer if we're talking about like earning. Now, I don't know if they've opened up the actual like PDE mechanic, but just from like a play like style and like what's out now, Blankos would probably be my answer. And then, man, I really cannot wait for Illuvium. I cannot wait for Illuvium. We played Thetan Arena. That's another one. It was like a
Thetan Arena. That's what I was thinking. I watched you play that one with Prodigy. That one was pretty cool.
It was fun, and you were earning actual tokens, although they're probably fucking worthless now because, again, Binance Chain is very volatile. So you're earning something 1 second, it's literally down 80%, but you're just earning, right? So I would say Thetan Arena was fun. That was cool. It showed off like how like a wallet would interact with a actual PC game, which was cool. You like connect your wallet and it's secure still, and someone is able to actually use your account potentially without you losing the asset. So it showcased the PDE mechanic to me at least. But Illuvium, I'm super really stoked on. Phantom Galaxy's another one. Lost Relics has been fun. I've seen people been playing that on that. A lot of wax talk, man. That's a painful one for me, man. Wax, we were, first NFT Live, I was probably covering wax. Like literally, if we go back to the first episode, I was probably fucking covering wax. We had
we were big on wax
sale days, and I just feel like they really never capitalized.
Or they were too early. Maybe that's what we should have named this show. Too early.
Was wax too early?
I think they were too early, dude. I'm seeing wax pop up everywhere for like playable NFTs and stuff that's coming out on them. They're getting all these different sports, different sporting, companies that are jumping over there. It seems like they're kind of slow to take off, but in the future, they're landing a lot of big deals. Just like you said with Flow, how it's kind of, down at the moment. You feel like it's not progressing, but they're signing so much stuff over there. Same with like Algorand. Algorand's way down, but they're signing so much stuff. Like they have to pop. They have to pop and take off. Talking about bags that are down that we're crying about. I had my Harmony 1 bag. I don't know what game was over there, but that thing's got to be super dead. I think they had an exploit earlier in the month or something like that, and it's like less than 2 cents right now, which is sad. Rip to the bags. Had a bunch of Harmony 1. Exploit is the worst when people hit like the bridge or whatever and take it over. Sucks.
NFT Action News is saying wax rules. I swear, no, wax is not too early. That's nuts talk. I think that what we're saying with wax being too early is like the way that they're approaching distributing NFTs or creating new IP will work much better in 5 years when there are 10x the amount of people in this space. Like what they did was essentially, launch IP and not put too much time into it. Like there was a moment where we went from like Godzilla to Street Fighter and Street Fighter was, I think, a better example, but Godzilla, for example, just didn't feel authentic when it came to like promoting that drop. It was a lot like, I'm not trying to throw shade, but like these bigger projects that in IPs that launch around movies. Like I loved what Nifty's did with the Matrix, but it's like, okay, now that the Matrix is done, you better just be okay with eating that cost as a fucking commemorative, that I was there, because they just have different thought processes that we don't really like in the Ethereum ecosystem. Not that we're a maxi by any means, but I just don't like what they did with moving from project to project without supporting a community, a fan base, the IP itself within the ecosystem. They were just like churning and burning. It felt like, man,
I wonder if that's because that was like individual people getting permission from the companies to use their IP. Whereas now with like Universal Music Group actually signing partnerships with Algorand, talking about how they're going to send all of their different artists over to that chain and they're going to build on that one. Maybe you're going to see a bunch of like music and movies because it's underneath Universal. They make movies too. You're probably going to see a bunch of stuff pop over on that chain, and maybe it'll be put out better this time because it's coming from the parent company versus, you or me approaching them and saying, hey, let me use your IP for this project. Because they were probably giving their IP away because they thought it wasn't going to take off or wasn't going to do anything, or maybe it's a small amount of invested capital to see if it does anything with their IP.
Yeah.
And then they pull it back in-house and release it somewhere else, maybe Algorand, for that reason.
Natalie is coming through with a lot of comments, a lot of great comments. NFT Action News, Santino as well. Let me get to some of these. Santino saying Thetan Arena is fun, but the tokenomics are hot garbage. Agreed with that. Natalie saying Flow in their custodial wallets can kiss my ass. NFT Action News, Wax is so cheap, great mechanics, lots of amazing partners. Don't sleep on them. And then this is a great point too. Harmony cut off their DAO funding recently, going to slow things down, and Near did the same. We saw this in the traditional companies too, right? BlockFi cut off 25% of its workforce. Coinbase scaled back. It was basically saying like, hey, this was cool in a bull market, but we're gonna have to cut a little bit, which across the entire ecosystem, from companies down to 5 people all the way up to thousands, like we just talked about, they had to do that. but I did not know that some of these DAO funding initiatives actually got cut off. That's crazy.
I was looking into Near, and I almost bought a bunch of Near, but then all this 3AC stuff started happening. And after a bunch of research, I think Near was my next guess for the next chain that this shit could happen to. So I hope not. I know a bunch of people are out there in Near. I don't wish that on any project. That was like the concern that I had when I was looking into it, and what made me decide to not get into that ecosystem was they've got that stable coin that's algorithmic over there. Mm-hmm. And that's, we've seen, is just dangerous. Yeah. So I hope Near's holding up well and doesn't take the tank next, because like I said, don't wish that on any. That's the last thing the space needs, is another project going belly up and taking more liquidity from here. I saw earlier today we were over $1 trillion in the market cap. I wonder if we're still over that.
That's good to see. Yeah, DeFi has some really cool aspects. If you don't follow Crypto Hayes, Arthur Hayes, former founder of BitMEX, like he was basically like last cycle's SBF. I always talk about Arthur Hayes because he's a genius. He's in jail now. He has more time to write, so he writes like articles. Probably it's sporadic, but like every week or week and a half, he'll put out these articles. But he was talking about how DeFi actually held up in this liquidation crisis, right? This over collateralization or under collateralization, should I say, that happened with 3AC, that happened with Celsius, that happened with Voyager, where these people got caught with their pants down because they were under collateralized. Well, DeFi was over collateralized. So when 3AC actually, got liquidated, they literally got liquidated because it was a smart contract. It hit the metrics it needed to hit. So the DeFi protocols actually were unaffected. And he writes about that. And he's like, yo, look at this situation that basically caused a mini bear because all of these centralized services parading as DeFi applications got liquidated and fucked all of us. Well, look at DeFi. DeFi held up. Aave held up great. Maker held up great. So there's these aspects of DeFi that do really well. But algorithmic stablecoins, I'm going to stay away from for the most part.
Yeah, I think I was reading up on Solana the other day, and they had a Solana whale that they forced to sell because if he would have got liquidated, it would have crashed the network because he held so much Solana, which is absolutely crazy. They say they're the decentralized. So I'm not talking shade on Solana. I got a big bag of that. Let's start there. But they're saying like the wallet that had so much money in it and it was close to getting liquidated, that if it would have happened, it would have like brought down the network. So they force sold this whale's wallet, and that blew my mind. I was talking with Llama about that, and he was saying that's actually been out in the space or a known issue with the Solana chain for a while. And I was like, dang, I need to get up on my news a little bit better. Llama knowing stuff that I don't, but that's probably because he's into DeFi.
For sure.
Yeah, shout out Llama. You guys need good advice from anyone. You can jump inside the LADZ City Discord and talk to our moderators. Hash Rhymes. Llama, let's
hit the
go.
CTA. While you're at it, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. There was another cycle, or in the previous cycle, Arthur Hayes, who I previously mentioned, did around the same thing. There was like a cascading liquidation thing happening, which essentially was just like you like the snowball got rolling down the hill, and like if it kept rolling down the hill on this one exchange, it would have like collapsed crypto. Like literally, I don't say that lightly. Like if you want to look into this, look into Crypto Hayes turning off the exchange. I don't even know what you would Google at this point, but it was a cascading liquidation that would have collapsed essentially crypto. He just turned the lights out on the exchange and the liquidation stopped and the price stabilized. And so there's these interesting like moments where people have to step in for what we think is a decentralized ecosystem that we're still dealing with, which maybe never goes away. Maybe we do need a human element to all of these. Verification's another thing. I mean, we're going down fucking major rabbit holes, but verification for NFTs in IRL that represent IRL things, how do you verify without actually having some, human intermediary there? So I think there's like some NFT services that are never going to just be fully decentralized, right? So
Maybe till there's more, well, maybe not fully decentralized, but I think the market will stabilize once there's more money in the market. With only $1 trillion in the market right now, it's not that hard to move the market and make changes. Like, I thought we were in trouble when we went below 2 trillion because market manipulation opens up a bunch there. Now we're below 1. It's super scary. You know, we get it back, you know, above 3, 4, 5 trillion dollars. It's not as easy to manipulate that market, but there's a bunch of very wealthy individuals out there that are gonna, you know, short BTC and then dump it as on its way down, and then they'll buy back in, long it, and shoot it back up. And you can do that if you have like a ton of money, and you can look at some of these smaller cap cryptos, especially if you're hiring influencers or whatever. It's not hard to do, especially if you can take your couple $1 billion and leverage it up, and then you're really acting like you got some money. So, but that's also dangerous. We've seen some people in the space lose billions and billions of dollars playing with leverage. So that play goes bad, and then, you know, instead of him manipulating the market that way, he manipulates the market because he just lost billions of dollars on a liquidation, and that dumps the industry too. So
yeah, and that affects like the overall market. It affects us in like the short term, right? Like a lot of this 3AC shit, maybe we continued going up on a lot of these NFT projects. Maybe your bags wouldn't be as wrecked if we didn't have that micro event, which was all that leverage getting wiped out. Yeah, so I appreciate y'all like getting really involved in this chat. I know we're down like a rabbit hole for sure. Asmodai saying, I think Animoca buying these small indie devs with some nice already developed IP will boost the quality and adoption of games in the space. Do others like this methodology? So we'll break that down. I definitely want to get your take there. Natalie saying Llama's the GOAT. NFT Addiction saying he pulled the plug in reference to the Arthur Hayes situation. I'm getting NFT ads on your videos for outdoor NFT marketplaces. Yo, I was rewatching a video and we were getting there are targeted ads. YouTube knows what it's doing when it comes to targeted ads on this platform, man. Because I was getting like Blankos, there was like mech NFT. It was super weird.
I saw some Cool Cats one earlier today.
On YouTube?
On YouTube, yep. On YouTube. That's probably weird. Just because I interact with my cool pet every day. You know, you have to interact with your pet and do some quests for it to help it evolve, or, you know, earn some Cool Cat coins. So it probably sees that I'm pulling up the Cool Cat website every single day. Probably figures, wasted advertisement on me. I'm already in your ecosystem, but you know, they have to be seeing that I'm clicking on it or something. And I think YouTube operates in the negative, because I don't think they make any money. And if it probably wasn't owned by Google, they probably wouldn't be up.
What's YouTube doing with all the money they're making from our episodes? I see like pennies on the dollar from this shit. What are they doing with all that money? You
have to think on how many people are making YouTube content that aren't making any money, or that don't have any ads on it. Like, I've got 4 or 5 YouTube accounts and I put stuff out, but none of those are being monetized because no one's watching them. So why would I set it up? Yeah, I'm doing my part to bring it down.
I appreciate that.
That's probably why, you know, it's hard to replace YouTube, just because most people don't pay for it. I know it's one of my favorite bills to pay every month because I hate looking at ads. And what is it, $12 for one plan? Or I think my girlfriend just told me to up it to a family plan at like $17 so she can get no ads. But it's a great, I love paying that bill. There's so much stuff on YouTube. You can learn absolutely anything. Here's a YouTube plug. Go watch your YouTube, buy a subscription so you don't have to pay to watch all those stupid ads.
Yeah, for people that are trying to create a competitor to YouTube, good luck. Because again, social media is like the biggest thing. We were talking about game consoles and competitors to that. Social media is like almost impenetrable. That moat is like the size of Lake Michigan. Like, good freaking luck. So I guess it depends on what success means to you. But if the pitch deck says like, we're going to have millions of users, like, hold on, you're not. You know, Library is one that I haven't logged into in fucking 10 years. It feels like, but Library was trying to do that. You know, there's a lot of other, you know, Live Peer was another one. So yeah, anyways, ad blocker is the GOAT. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Ad blocker is the GOAT. I took it off one of my browsers for a while, and you're instantly re-downloading it. You don't realize how much stuff ad blocker actually blocks until you turn it off. There's so many ads, targeted ads, and a lot of them are just trash. YouTube is the new MIT.
Jacob Gooden saying TikTok is coming for YouTube. I actually kind of agree. I will say, like, I like Spotify and what they're doing with video content on their platform, where you actually can have a podcast like what we're doing sitting here, and you can have that on Spotify. The problem is Spotify's dashboard is hot garbage. Spotify's discoverability is hot garbage, and there's all these other issues. But I like the actual, once you make it into somebody's profile, you can see Savage and NiftyQ getting after it, on a video. That would be, the ideal.
So that's nice. So Spotify started doing video. So not only can you listen to it, but you can see it on there as well.
Exactly.
Oh, so when Joe Rogan moved from YouTube and went over to Spotify, he didn't have video, and I stopped watching. Like, that's half the fun of the show. So now they have it. So now they have it. The girlfriend was just saying she's going to cancel Spotify to pick up YouTube TV. So maybe we won't. Who knows?
There you go. Yo, he was like user one. Like, they had to get Rogan set up. Rogan was probably like, if I'm moving to you, I need video content. But that was like in the zone where he had like the red room. Remember when he switched to that red room when he moved to Austin? That shit was weird. It was like not his vibe whatsoever. Now he's got like
a
the
bubble
neon. Yeah, it was like, he was in a weird alien ship. Yeah, that was. Yeah,
I haven't watched any Rogan in a long time, just because I was boycotting because they kicked out the video, and now I guess I'm being a salty fan because they fixed that and I'm still not watching it. So shout out to Nifty for putting me back on Joe Rogan. Maybe you'll hear some better conspiracy theories coming up in future weeks. We'll credit to this.
So I want to get to some last comments. We do have to run here. We're almost at an hour and 15 minutes. RFox TV is in beta. You leave it up to XWA to give us the RFox update. Also, another group I would love to talk to on the NiftyQ show. Let's see. All right, so going back, I want to get your take here. I want to get the chat's take. Animoca buying small indie devs, already developed IP. Will it boost the quality of adoption of games in the space? Do I like the methodology? I'm going to use Phantom Galaxies for an example. I think that was a quality of project that is going to do well. I think the project in general is going to do well. They basically, said, hey, we're going to bring you into the space. You have a game already in development that's going to come out. Let's just add NFTs on top of it. Love that methodology. The problem is there's a lot of not hits on there as well. Like, Animoca pushes products that I think in general, like, they have a shotgun approach, and some of those shotguns are going to miss the target, and some of them are going to be direct hits. I think Phantom Galaxy is going to be a direct hit, and there's some others that are going to do well. So they're a big enough company where they're going to have enough team members, but you also got to think they're super involved in the other side. Yacht was like leading up the staking proposals on, the other side piece. So they're super involved in it in the other side. Sandbox, Phantom Galaxy is launching, but I guess TLDR, yes, I like the methodology.
I think that's the way the space is going to go. Like what the Bored Ape company, they bought up Meebits and a couple other ones like that, Punks. I think that's how it's going to start to develop in the coming years. I've been working for Chain Scouts for quite a while now. Oxytocin Labs just bought them up, and they also own like Anonymice and several other projects. I think they're going to make a whole ecosystem over there, which is kind of like the same model that Bored Ape is going to do. They're picking established projects that they think are going to do well, and then they're buying them, bringing them into the parent company, and probably going to develop stuff together. So I think that's where maybe a lot of these different games in the space or projects in the space are going. You're going to see, a whale or a big parent company go through and start buying some of them up and, making a bigger like project or bigger vision where they're incorporating a bunch of them. And that could be, instead of all these different PFP projects or games that are going to come out, maybe we should start looking into the space for existing ones that have been out there and they're going to get scooped up by some big brands. Because that's probably how a lot of these different gaming companies are going to jump in. They'll probably purchase a blockchain game so they can get their feet wet, see how it's all working, and then they'll start figuring out who to hire as devs and, coders and whatever to develop their own stuff. Because how else are you going to get quality people into the project? Like, you might as well just purchase a game that's already running well, and then you get access to their dev, their team, and then from there you can just kind of build out and expand on that. That would be how I would do it if I was a big brand. Try to minimize your risk And instead of developing one from the jump, you can buy one that's in the space, maybe with their floor down or, whatever, but has solid, bones.
No, that's a great take. I mean, you see that in regular businesses, right? You have businesses that are super large, these firms that are really large. Instead of like trying to go from absolute scratch, they buy someone that's already, in the actual sector that they want to get into. So I perfectly agree with that. I think gaming is like, and I've used this analogy a bunch, but like a North Star for me when it comes to like in a bear market, essentially, that we might be coming out of, but still, kind of iffy. It's like gaming assets are always going to be a thing. It's not an if, which I think PFPs even, it's like do we ever make it to mass adoption? Probably. But like gaming assets make so much fucking sense that it has been my North Star, regardless of like how long it takes. Gaming assets are going to be owned, and they're going to be owned by the users, and they're going to be NFTs, and that's that. So it'll be cool to get League of Legends one day where I'm not spending money that I'll never see back, but we'll see.
All right, it's been a super fun episode of NFT Live. If you enjoyed yourself, make sure to give us a sub, a like, and join us over in the Discord. Yeah, Young Content, shout out. That man's got a wonderful episode or set up on YouTube himself as well. If you like listening to Young Content, go over and pop out and check out his content. But I think we're going to stop this one here and say our vibe, our tribe, guys.
Yo, OVOT, check out Spotty Wi-Fi on Young Content's channel as well. That was a dope interview. Shout out to Young. I got to meet him in person again. Not at NFT NYC. Yes, we're going to get together maybe out in LA, maybe in Vegas or something like that. But it was a good episode. Appreciate y'all. OVOT.
OVOT. Let's go, guys.
But it's kind of funny, so it's all good with me. Yeah. Good morning. I hope you live it well. Kind of the spread, taking care of yourself. Eh? Good morning. I hope you live it good. Hopefully this heat gon' get us out of here.